It's a two-man show, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition, to another installment of the Fade to Black special edition show. I'm your host, Donnell Monte Morris, and welcome back after a break, Beast Johnson. Beast Johnson's a two-man show today.
Like I said, I'll be admin man today. We're here for a really, really good show.
Oh, most definitely. And our topic for today is the aftermath. Basically, when all the protests and everything is all said and done, what now? What is our objectives? What are the things that needs to be done so we don't come back to this place in America? So with that being said, y'all already know what it is. Let's get with the opening statements.
Well, my opening statement is a response to a question from a viewer, which was kind of simply, why you smoking weed live on Facebook? And my explanation was, it's to showcase and break all the negative stereotypes and the subtle stereotypes that plague all of us, including Black men. Most individuals, when they see brothers of my skin tone, my build, my cadence of voice, they assume the most negative things about us. Even if we do happen to partake of the herb, we're automatically deviant and ne'er-do-well vagrant individuals, which is completely fabricated and false. So I speak in this manner, and I still smoke weed on live to showcase that we don't make you stupid. We don't make it dumb. We don't make you an ignorant individual. And if you put these type of stereotypes and stigmas upon people, you're only showcasing your ignorance and your insecurities. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you so much, Beast Johnson. Then it gets my turn. First and foremost, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, y'all staying safe with this. Remember, we still got disease out, COVID-19. How you doing, Dan? Hi, everybody, for tuning in. Please stay safe. But I want to start with this because I know my boy Beast Johnson is going to be somewhere smiling because I really want to put this out. I told him I'm going to pull the trigger on it. I'm just going to let y'all know. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the WET Network. You probably wonder, the WET Network. What is that? I'm going to tell you how this all happened and how it was created. I'm going to make it as short as I can. Me and Beast Johnson, we were just talking after the successful interview that me and him had a month ago. And we just went on. We were saying like how BET wasn't back black since, 2000? And he was like, yeah, it's becoming the WET Network. And it just stuck with me. And I was like, I think you're on to something. And I think I quoted him like in mid-sentence when he was talking to me. And he was like, what? I like, WET? I said, that's a good name for a network. And then we both just started brainstorming. It was like that. Me and him both want to say wavelength. I said, look, I can find the provider to do it because I've been working on something for this for a long time. I find the provider. He said he will get the people. And I cannot believe that in a couple of weeks that this is going to become true. So the Wet Network is YouTube and Netflix combined, where you got expiring webisode individuals that love to do web series, and then you got those who's in music that love to just showcase their music. The best thing about this is it's the best of both worlds. Artists, YouTubers, aspiring video creators, this is for you. One thing I can guarantee you, the disrespect that you've been getting from YouTube, even though I'm being shown live on YouTube, you will get the utmost respect with us. Not only in profit, but also your work. This is a network that should have been done ages ago. Now y'all got to deal with algorithms and hashtags just for you to get at least a view on your page. You don't have to worry about that with the Wet Network. Yes, you will be part of a category, but guess what? It'd be easier to get to your content, where we will introduce your new content to the world, to the viewers, not only just to your subscribers. So if you're sick and tired of the apocalypse that's still happening in YouTube, where YouTube is taking your views away, I even heard they're taking away their subscribers, where they are sitting there measuring your pay, yes, your pay, your AdSense, with how many people watch your show to how many subscribers, where your pay just fluctuates. With the Wet Network, you don't have to worry about that. Just because you're with an established platform does not mean that they always will have your back. Join us. And to the viewers, you want to see great content, up and coming content, where majorities of these shows and movies that you see right now on TV networks, even on Netflix too, where they get their ideas from, where they got started from, Wet Network is where it's at. I don't care if you are a successful YouTuber, a successful video creator, director, or just starting out. The Wet Network is here for you. We're here to change the game. Not only just to change the game, we're here to own it. We will let you know more information as the months goes on. And I'm going to let Beast Johnson add on to it.
In my Suge Knight vibe, if you tired of getting demonetized, flagged, banned for unnecessary ignorance, if you're tired of having to proclaim this ain't your music only to be banned, if you're tired of being banned for playing your own fucking music, we're not offering you an alternative. We're offering you an escape. We're offering you a place where you could do the shit you do at Facebook, and you could do better shit over here. You want to really do some shit that's gonna get people's attention? You come to us, because that's what we're here for. We're not here to. We gonna get our money. Let that be known. You talking to two entrepreneurs, multi-generation hustlers. We gonna get our money. All right.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm gonna get my money and you working with me, it's only right you get money too.
And as long as you getting your money, you can focus on and put that energy back into your creative essence. Because you know your bills are paid. You know you got that good check coming. You know you got an extra check coming. So come fuck with the Wet Network. I'll let you boys.
We in there. Believe that. And speaking of that, now let's go into our main story.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our main story is, after all what's been going on, addressing police brutality, protests, all that. B-Shards, my question is for you. What are the things that you want to see get accomplished? Not in the works, but to get accomplished so we never come to this place in America again.
I want us to be like the Jews. And to Jason Woodard, yes, we hiring. Hit the DMs. Send us your info. We'll get with you. But to answer the question, when I say we need to be like the Jews, they need to handle us like they handle the Jews. And the Jewish are like them. They're of their people. The ish means not exactly, but representing enough qualities to be considered. That's why the Orthodox curl their hair to make it as kinky as the original.
Right.
But when it came down to the Holocaust, yes, they gave them some money. But the first thing that they did was publicly and globally acknowledge that, yes, this shit happened. Yes, it was fucked up. And yes, we are sorry. How many Jewish people do you know of or have heard of or have run across in your life ever thrown the Holocaust card out?
That's a good question.
Now, how many other colored races you know that threw out the cards of their respective oppressions? More specifically, blacks and Native Americans. We'll throw that card out real fucking quick.
Yep.
Like a draw four. So the first thing they need to do is acknowledge they bullshit. Acknowledge it happened. Accept your part of the wrong. Because we were just as wrong. Because let's keep it the band here, black folk. Even once we got here, there were a couple ships that did what they needed to do and took them motherfuckers over. There was a couple ships that died trying. But once y'all got here, y'all still should have been just there and came out the gate. As soon as I got a free chance, get on your prison shit. Start stabbing them. It was slow but sure, but it should have been all that time on that boat. Y'all should have been figuring out ways to communicate with each other. To figure out once we get down to where we need to get down, this is what the fuck we need to do.
Right.
So black folk, we dropped the ball on that.
Yeah.
So we as black folk, we gotta own up to our part on it. But white folk, y'all need to own up that slavery shit was bullshit. Y'all still making money off of it. And in order to fully say that slavery is done, you must destroy or either the institutes or the access to the benefits of those institutes that are still present today.
And this is true. This is all true. For me, it has to come down to this. It's great seeing all the statues coming down. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. This is something that should have been happened. I seen it in Virginia when you had to go around that Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson statue that's right there in the middle of freaking Richmond. And I seen a lot of my Facebook friends that live in that area that supports the rebel flag. Like yesterday, I just seen one of my boys put up a meme saying that, basically paraphrasing that both flags, the American flag and the Confederate flag, that tremendous respect. You should show so much respect to it. And I'm like, treasonous flag, a flag that basically just, I mean, it didn't mean nothing to me. It didn't mean nothing to me.
America is the only nation that has the flag that's had a inner war within itself and still represents the flags of both the victor and the loser.
Yeah. And the thing that kills me is a lot of them going to, because I seen this too. There's a lot of black folks that have history of slaves fighting for the Confederates. And it was like, well, we had black folks that was fighting for the Confederacy. You're right. Not going to doubt that fact. But here's the truth. The truth was, if they won the war, they was going to give them their freedom. They never gave them their freedom.
Here's the thing a lot of people don't really know. Both sides said the same shit.
Same thing.
Only different was the Union put it in paper. They put it on paper, and they put a law behind it stating that, hey, if we win, y'all support us, this is what's going to go down.
Right.
So you had more black folk that had more investment in going over there because they actually saw the papers versus their master or their slave owner just saying, hey, you fight this war for us, we'll let you go if you live.
Right. And then how they was preaching the stories about it. I forgot. It was a group of daughters that were basically their ancestors were in the Confederates, and they created their own little group. And then you got the son of the Confederates. These groups that kept these monuments and basically crafted up the history. Basically crafted up and kept it going and made the Confederate flag something that it's not. And going back to the black folks, because I actually saw a video where literally a black woman, she literally, my boy right here, literally, I spelled it wrong. I literally had a black woman decked down Confederate, like memorabilia. She went to a Confederate god dang it, my head, cemetery. And she says she's paying respect. And you know what the sad thing is? It's in my freaking neck of the woods. It's in Virginia.
I think here's what it really boils down to. The basis, the reason why they kept the flag is like everything else in history, you got to change the stigma and attach it to something else.
Yeah.
For black people, we say booty and swag. Those are actual pirate terms. They mean
get the loot,
stolen loot, and your stash spot of stolen loot.
Yeah. And
Confederacy was just like, hey, we instead of saying it's about racism, we're going to now attach the Confederate flag to just the overall Southern way of life.
Right.
Which is more presentable to people.
Yeah, and not to say too much on the Confederate flag. It's great to see that's all coming down. It's great that the protesters are going to every single one of them and pulling them down, throwing them in the lakes, seas, wherever, putting them on fire. It brings joy to my heart. But then you have to ask, what else? What else? What else do I want to see? And hopefully I can get Woodard on the show. I can give him the link. For police, that it should be a punishment for them doing these things that they do, other than getting fired.
Well, we have to overhaul that whole system.
Yeah.
Because the American police system is based off of is one of those institutes that I spoke on earlier that is based off of slavery. It's steeped within slave mentality and slave tactics.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the first thing. That's one of the things you got to get out the way. Like we have to. It would take too much time and effort and money to re-educate, as opposed to just saying, "Hey, we're gonna just fire every last one of you. And if you want your job and if you want to continue getting your benefits, you have to reapply and go through everything else and know that the physical parts will be easy, but you'll have a deeper psychological test to go through."
Yeah. But on the punishment part, but
yeah,
for
punishment?
me, the punishment part, as me as a soldier, if I do something that's unlawful and immoral, and somebody losing their life, or me being insubordinate to a senior, I'm gonna get in trouble.
Exactly.
And just like them, if they do something like that to their senior, they're gonna get just as worse too. And the police should not be excused at all, not one bit.
No,
that's for the police part. Let's go on the police part, because this is where all the protests stem from, is from the police. Seeing that one video, seeing that not even video, but seeing that freaking interview with that one president of the freaking police union going on that tirade. Well, this badge don't need to be staying and da 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 da. I'm like, dude, stop fucking whining. You're pretending that all this mess is not happening. And then we have this man on the show who is a fellow police officer himself and also first responder medic. Too Smooth with it. What's up, man? With his tongue sticking out and everything, but hopefully.
It's the worst freeze spot.
Yeah. Hey, Wood. So, all right. So basically, the show is the aftermath. You have law enforcement experience. So one of my solutions is police officers that has done these things, should they be punished just like a felon or somebody with a misdemeanor? If not, then what should that punishment be? Hopefully you can hear me.
Hey, just a minute, my signal is messing up and you're cutting out.
Oh, can you hear me now? I think you got T-Mobile, y'all. Don't get T-Mobile.
I see some trees back there. Like he in one of them wooded areas.
Yeah. Hopefully you can hear us.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear us? Hopefully you can hear us.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, cool. Can you hear us? Coming in loud and clear.
You there, Ward?
Yeah, I'm here. We here. We just want to know if you can hear us.
That signal is it.
Yeah, we're gonna let him get off real quick. Hopefully he gets that all squared away. T-Mobile's done me right. Oh, okay. T-Mobile over here. Look, T-Mobile is the headquarters here in Washington, so I can't say too much. I think T-Mobile got him, but but like I was saying, I believe if you uphold the laws that you are sworn to protect, but then you violate those laws, you should get it just as worse as you enforcing them on an individual that has violated those laws. That's all I'm saying.
That's what's supposed to happen. That's the basis in every other job facet of society.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the mentality might be is that because your job is to, basically go out there and grab the bad guys or those that are going against the grain of society,
Mhm.
you end up making a lot of enemies. It's kind of like the comic book. You going out there on your superhero tip, saving the world, saving citizens and whatnot. You're building up a rogue gallery. Now, if you were to fall to grace and end up in the same area that houses those type of individuals, there's a higher chance of you running across one of the individuals you personally put in there or individuals associated with those you put in there. So they feel like if we do cops like we do everybody else, according to the rules, if you break a law, you should go to jail. But there's that stigma that, if a cop goes to jail, they're going to catch extra hell. Same with like pedophiles. Pedophiles and cops are like two of the individuals that really go through hell in the penitentiary and the prison system.
Right. Woodard, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. So, Woodard, my question is for you, since you have a history in the law enforcement. With these officers that are committing these crimes, let's keep it real, committing these crimes and committing these murders, what should their punishment be?
It's just same as everybody else. If someone else kills someone, everything should be the same across the board, regardless of what job they hold and stuff. Just like the officers with George Floyd, they get theirs. They need to get handled. They need to go to jail for it because they was 100% wrong. They wasn't doing what they was hired to do, uphold the law. They was breaking the law at they was doing it. Then I can't remember the guy's name from last week, well, a couple weeks ago.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that one. I'm iffy on that one right now because what everyone's doing is seeing it that they just murdered a black man and everything, but everybody didn't see what transpired before that or the whole time before what was going on. Why they stopped him? Everybody focused on, oh, he killed somebody. They killed somebody. They killed him. They killed him. They wanted to murder him anyway. That wasn't the case and everything. Yes, the guy was in the car, drinking and driving. He was drunk. But did it mean that they would take his life? No, it didn't mean he didn't take his life. But the moment that he started resisting arrest, then he turned around and grabbed the taser from the officer. Because some places, grabbing a taser is required deadly force. A lot of states is like that. If you grab something off that officer's duty belt, now they escalated to deadly force because you can use whatever they have on a duty belt to injure them or somebody else.
All right. So I'm gonna keep it 100 because the last show I actually brought it up on the video that I seen on CNN. So I'm gonna keep it funky with you. So my thing was, y'all can go back on the show. I did say that how I saw it, he ran, but as a black man, we got so much that's going through our minds, definitely in a situation like that.
Yeah.
Should he have ran? No, he shouldn't have. I was looking at the point of, damn, they shot this dude. Like, he tried to shoot him with the taser and he missed. So I'm happy that you're on the show. And also, you remember Lawrence, right? Woodard?
Oh yeah, I know Lawrence.
Yeah. He's also on the police force too as well. He just I put the comment up a little bit. He said qualified immunity.
Oh yeah.
So I wish you was on the show on Friday so you can explain like your take on it from being in the law enforcement. Like I said, my final take was it worthy of him shooting and killing him? But from your point as a law enforcement officer, if anything, you take anything off the belt, okay, I can see it from your point of view as well. Yes.
You know, and these chiefs, what they making these knee-jerk decisions, they pretty much, well, I see it, they do that as a political stunt. Especially when, you know, say I might murder somebody right now, and 5 minutes later, they turn around and fire me. Well, that's a knee-jerk response because you didn't know what happened. You didn't investigate. You just turn around, you're fired on the spot. And to me, I see a lot of chiefs using that as a political thing for them so they can get reelected, or somebody, the mayor can get reelected or something. That's what they hate to say it. Every death is a political stunt. No one is trying to help get justice for anybody. All these people are using things as a political. And that's the part that aggravates me the most.
Right.
Because before then, they wasn't saying anything. They were sitting in the back trying to get stuff for them. But now they see that, oh, everybody's outraged about this right here. Now let's do what we need to do to get reelected.
All right.
Just like everybody in Congress took the knee, wearing all the scarves and everything. I know everybody complaining about Trump used the Bible as a publicity stunt at the church. Now look what all the congressmen and congresswomen did. All the scarves and everything on.
Yeah, and
so
which
every last one of Democrat and Republican, both of them are cracked up wrong.
Right,
okay? and Marcia, as you know, I lean Republican. I vote Republican, but I'll tell you when my fucked up, they're fucked up. Every party is fucked up in what they do.
Yeah. So going on with that, if you was the police chief, what would you have done in that situation? Not the George Floyd and all that stuff, because I know how you would react on that one. But how would you react in this one that happened in that Wendy's parking lot?
And when in that Wendy's parking lot, if I was the chief and that happened, automatically I would turn it over to the state troopers and let them handle it, let them investigate it, because I don't investigate my own department, so I would send it to somewhere higher to get an unbiased opinion on what's going on.
Right. So you got a question.
In Texas.
Yeah.
So if one of the police officers shoots somebody, the Texas Rangers is the ones investigating the whole thing completely out.
Right.
So the department's completely out of it.
So
everything is turned over to the Rangers.
So we got a question for you, Mr. Wood, for my boy Billingsley. First of all, how about them Cowboys? This is what he said. I put the comment. I don't think you're able to see it, but I'm gonna read it to you. They used a taser twice. How is it deadly force? You can only use it twice. Tasers is a form of non-lethal form of force. So is it okay to kill that man? Which, once again, that was my thing on Friday, and I still feel that way about it. But hearing it from your side on as a law enforcement on, what to do in that type of in that protocol and that procedure, but not trying to get too much off of what Billsley's trying to say. I'm gonna let you go ahead and answer.
Yeah, those tasers they're used to deploy once. So after the first it shoots once, then you can dry stun someone. So you take that cartridge off and come and use it. You can. So it's only you pull the trigger once and it's done. So you have to put a new cartridge in. A lot of them carry the second one up under it. Okay. But there wasn't no need to kill that guy. I can't say it wasn't no need to kill him.
Yeah.
But it happened.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at right now. It happened. It shouldn't have never happened. Both sides. He shouldn't have resisted, and also should have showed a little bit more restraint to just let him go. Even though he turned the taser at the officer, shot it at him, but it's you dang if you do, and dang if you don't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. Yeah.
Heaven forbid, the crazy thing about it, when he pointed back at the officer, it could have shot him in the eye, put his eye out or something.
Yeah, because the officer was on the ground. Yeah, officer was on the ground.
Yeah. So it's up in the air on that one. Because you hit somebody in the eye with a taser, and you putting 5 seconds of volts through somebody's eye, you kill them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bring this up because it's been a talk of the town, And I know, Woodard, I know this is gonna make your hair stand. It's gonna make you grow hair just as much as Beast Johnson right here.
D, I want to hear this right
here. So, and then also I'm gonna put you up in here too, Beast Johnson. What you think? Defunding the police. When you hear that, what's the first thing that comes to mind to?
It's gonna be a free for all. You know, I understand everybody saying put counselors on the street, put counselors. It's no counselor. I'm sorry. It's no counselor in this world will go out to domestic violence calls and sit there and try to talk to someone. No counselor can go and sit and talk to somebody who just got kidnapped or somebody's house just got broken into. You know, so you're. I understand defunding them a little bit, but I don't agree with it. I don't think that's the best course of action. I think they just need to, like everybody been saying, more specialized training for some of these officers.
Mm. What about you, Beast Johnson?
Get a little bit more training.
I agree with Mr. Woodard on that. I was about to say not necessarily a defunding. If you defund, it has to be clear and concise in the language. Any defunding should be military aspects of local law enforcement. No things that are kept on standby in the event of for crowd control or martial law. Things of that nature, ARs, military style weaponry and equipment, that should be defunded or put on froze. And the money that was originally entitled for that should be reinvested into the specialized training. And only once the specialized training and the probationary terms are met, can that particular station or law enforcement agency have that access to those type of weaponry and equipment. Because that's the first thing that everybody's screaming when they scream defunded. They're thinking about the crowd control guns. They're thinking about that martial law style of weaponry that you would normally see for gentlemen like yourself, Mr. Amante.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that's what they is going, but it has to be clear. We're not defunding it. We're putting access to that on hold. It's going to be frozen. If y'all already got an account for it, that account is frozen. And now y'all got to do this extra paperwork and training over here.
Yeah.
You get the training work done.
I agree with you to a point on that. I agree with you to a point like that for the military style weapons. So just say if tomorrow morning they start, no police department in America has those weapons. But look at all the citizens that have those weapons.
True.
So how are they supposed to respond to that when you come up with your Glock and they come out with an AK at you?
True.
Yeah, that's a big. That's a game changer. That's a game changer. But see,
I think what I'm saying is the money. It's like you have the yearly budget reviews. You can't feasibly expect the government to have them turn over existing equipment. So I'm not expecting them to get rid of the existing equipment because of situations just like that. Because if somebody in the hood hears some mess like that, hey, the cops they came in today, snatched up all the cops' riot gear, snatched up all the ARs, bro. Word. Yeah. Go holler at Peanut. He got 3 of them. Well, I agree with you. So I'm not saying I'm not expecting or even asking them to take away. I'm expecting and asking that in the future, this is what we need to do and have established in the future. Right now, it'll just be the training, the freeze on the assets. From further on, this extra training and specialized training will become an institute of that. So we won't need to bring up that statement of defunding them, because even if they have access to it, they're not using it in any kind of legally iffy way.
All right. So I'm gonna jump in real quick. So I'm hearing from both of you, I agree with y'all totally. So when I first heard about defunding the police, I was like, let me see how this go. Like how like defund. See, when people hear defund, they thinking about they're gonna take all the money away. And I knew they weren't gonna take the money away. I was thinking like more than half. But hearing what both of y'all said, I agree. But also there's another thing too that within what y'all said that I caught. When Woodard brought up you be coming in with a Glock and it be coming in with the AK-47, which goes back to the Second Amendment. Yeah. And you got a lot of them out there that sit there and say, don't take my guns. Don't take my guns. I love my guns. Which is going to go back to that. And y'all know that the Second Amendment, that's on the right. That's their issue. So imagine now, when they say now we're not going to be selling no more AK-47s. Now you're definitely going to have war on the streets. And that's going to be a whole nother subject. But that's something that's going to be tricky with that.
We're not going. No, it's just we'll have to increase what they're doing now.
Right.
Like it's specific levels of training, just like the drive.
Right.
If you want to drive a regular car, that's a certain type of license. If you want to be able to drive a regular car up to a van to help people move, that takes a certain type of license. If you want to do truck driving, that takes a certain type of license.
So yeah, get CDLs, and so what I'm saying is, it's always going to go back to that Second Amendment. So let me let y'all know how I am when it comes to weapons. I do believe we should have background checks, but do I believe that we should take people's weapons? No. If you want to have an M16 in your house and all that stuff, fine with me. If you want to have even grenades, as long as you keep your grenades on your land, we straight. But here's where I take issue. You can vouch for me for this. I don't want to go, let's say you go to the barbecue joint. I don't want to walk into that restaurant and I see guys and girls, little boys with M16s on. If you got like a Glock or 9mm, as we call it in the military, M9, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Don't sit there and just bring a big ass gun, because every time when I see somebody with a big ass gun,
something about to jump off. Something about to jump off.
That's what.
If I see you with a Glock, a little pistol, I just think, all right, no, he just got one on just in case something.
Right.
You know, maybe he off-duty cop. That's what I think when I see somebody with just a pistol. Maybe he an off-duty cop or a lawman of some sort. But if I see you running around here with the chopper,
something is going. Yeah, like you said,
I'm popping out.
Right.
But if I'm serving you in McDonald's and you next in line and you walk up to me with your AR-15, talking about, can I get a number 4, no cheese? I'm clocking the fuck out.
Right. I'm not going.
Before you even get there, I'm flexing the first order and I'm telling the manager so he can only hear, bro, I'm about to clock the fuck out. I'm not taking this nigga order.
Right. I mean,
no.
It will stop everything. You in line and they walk in, not to mention a group of them, just walk in like it ain't nothing. You got one that's got the low rating in the front and you got the other one on the back. You got one that's holding it in his hand and you sitting there like, yo, what the fuck?
I'm about to hit the floor. Right. I'm about to hit the floor. I'm about to grab something to stab or poke with real quick. Just in case you get close.
I mean,
we about to have a prison fight up in here. Phone check, nigga.
Right. I mean, you have to. I mean, lots of things will be going through my life. First of all, hopefully I ain't messed with none of their sisters. One. Number two.
Exactly. Lord, I hope I don't know that. I hope it wasn't his mama.
Right. Or you be thinking to yourself, like, yo, did I bully that kid back in the day? Or did I take his lunch money? I mean, I'm like, dang, I said, I hope I ain't did nothing wrong. Right.
Like, is that little PvP?
Right. He said that happened. I mean, these are things that
I'm guys come to the house, wanted me to walk around and protest with them with their ARs and everything. And I was trying to say, no, I'm not doing that. I have 3 of them. I'm not walking around the street with my AR out. I said, because if my AR comes out, I'm ready to go to work. I'm not going to walk up and down the road protesting, saying, "Oh, don't take our guns," or he's knocking on everybody's door saying, "Come on out, come on out." I'm not doing that.
Right? No, I mean,
why would you put yourself in that kind of line of fire like that?
Right. You should go.
Everybody's right, but I'm not that one.
Right.
You don't need to know what I carry. You don't need to know what I have with me.
Right, which is fair. I mean,
come try to jack me.
Right, it's fair. I mean, if you want to see what I got, come on up in here. I'm burn you up like a firework in the 4th of July. Come on. But other than that, when like I said, when I see that make my mind go crazy. Like I remember when me and Wood, when we went to freaking we went to Iraq and we went across the street. You remember when we went to the Boys and Girls Club of Iraq, and we saw those Iraqis with those freaking M16s. Me and you, mainly you, I had to calm you down. And then at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, why they got these weapons? Because I'm still not for it. If any, people who's Iraqi or Iraqi descent, no disrespect, but it just make me kind of nervous because we had incidents every week where an Iraqi actually shot a soldier. So we had every time we felt that way. So, but going back going back to the States, y'all can have y'all weapons, y'all can have your guns, but in this case for police officers, they should be held to the accountability. How about this? I say this: if a police district, precinct, keep doing the same thing, if they keep having all these multiple troubles and actions happening, they should have their funding cut. They should have it cut enough for them to function. Having weapon out is a statement.
That's exactly true.
Yeah,
showing it says you looking to do something.
Yeah, and that's all I'm saying. I think that's the best way to get these police officers.
No, I have a suggestion. I just thought of it. I have the perfect suggestion because what I spoke on earlier about the stigma that along with cops going to jail because it's like you're putting them around the same people they just arrested. Most of them are not going to last long, or even if they last long, it's going to be a shitty ride.
Right.
So, okay. Here's my plan. Privatized prisons are a thing in America.
Mm-hmm.
Why not privatize a police prison system? Every state should have one maximum security prison set just for government officials. Because in the Army, y'all don't go to regular jail when y'all get in trouble. Y'all go to an Army style.
It's only one. That's only one. Fort Leonard Wood.
Like I said, you ain't going to San Quentin. You ain't going to Rikers. You going to the Army jail. No matter where you from, you could be from Poughkeepsie or Okalooka, but if your ass in the Army and you fuck up, you going to Leavenworth. So why not do officers the exact same way? So to erase that stigma, yes, if you fuck up, you will go to prison, but you don't have to worry about being around the same individuals that you put in the prison. You're going to be around other crooked ass piece of shit cops like yourself, other corrupt lawmen who chose to go against the grain and chose to use it for their own personal means. You'll be locked up with your own kind.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And then also, and on top of that, cutting your funding to that precinct, not just all police, but like if your precinct has a history of doing that, your funding should be cut. Yeah, should be cut too. Because now, like in the military, mass punishment, everybody gonna get it. Everybody gonna get it. Now that big funding, and then I would think about they're trying to do something about like get their pensions and all that stuff. I'm like, that's a bit much. Let's get it where everybody can just point out what's wrong.
Yeah,
be like, okay.
The punishment has to affect the culprit.
Yes.
Yes, other people will be affected. If I do a crime, I go to jail.
Right.
Any money that I have access to is affected.
Mm-hmm.
Any money that's attached to my family is not. Mm-hmm. They can't come for my nephew's money or my kids' money or my mama money. They can't come for that. They just come for my money.
Right.
So that's the thing with the pension. I agree. I wouldn't mess with the pension because you got a lot of crooked cops that raise good families.
Mm-hmm.
So good families are already suffering for the fact that this crooked lawman got caught up. They shouldn't have to suffer more on a financial state already on top of that psychological and emotional toll that they're going through. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I wouldn't touch the pension at all.
Yeah. And funny thing is, you got 3 black men that's on this show, and we did not say F the police not once. No. See that? No. See that?
Yeah. A lot of people ask me how I'm so good friends with the police all the time.
But I'll take it a step further. You have 3 black. You got 3 black men on here. 1 into law, 1 in the armed service, 1 a convicted felon, and not one of us said 12.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends with the cops.
Go ahead with it.
Yeah, I've had my bad run-ins with the police before, and each time I've got in trouble with the law, I can't blame them. I blame myself.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. A lot of people don't blame themselves for it because the police not out looking for people who's doing nothing wrong. They're pretty much looking for people who's doing something against the law. Mm-hmm. It's like before I went to Iraq with you in 2010. Back in March of 2010, I got in trouble because I was having a little too many. And so I called a DWI on that. I didn't blame the officer for that. I blamed myself because I was drinking. I was driving down the road. I pulled over on the road to go to sleep, and they stopped me.
Yeah.
And when the officer came up to the car, I was so drunk, I just told him, hey, my gun's in the trunk of my car. It's on the right-hand side, and my magazine on the left-hand side. Bomber in case is locked. They had it in the police report. When I went to see the judge, he was like, man, you was 100% honest. I said, I'm not going to lie about anything. I'm not going to resist them. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to just tell them straight up.
Yeah.
So pretty much they gave me, a year suspension on my license. I was in Iraq the whole time. I didn't give a damn. So then when I came back to the States, everything was good. Military, I got a general letter reprimand. Pretty much a slap on the wrist from the military because when I deployed, it's kind of the PCS. So that record was wiped off.
Yep.
Now, fast forward to after I got out the military, this girl I was dating said I hit her. Police didn't ask no questions. They came and locked me up. When I went to court and everything, they found out it was false. And when the officer took me to jail, he pretty much almost got me killed in jail because he went and said, well, I got a public official. So then they put me in general pop with everybody else. And I'm sitting here getting looked at by some Aryan Brotherhood guys like they can whoop my ass or something. So, each time I've got in trouble, I can't blame nobody else but myself being in wrong situations, wrong places, at wrong times.
Yeah. And I think people for themselves to take accountability, not trying to cut you off, but yeah, you're right. We all should take accountability. Like I got pulled over for a DUI. I'm not ashamed of it. I learned from it, even though I thought the police officer, he didn't have to lie in his story, but that's a different story. I learned from it. I'm better for it. I even went through the class, even though I had Bell Buddy who was making fun of me for it. I said, look, I learned a lot in that DUI class. I learned some stuff, even though my favorite drink in the world was the Long Island iced tea. She said, if you have that drink and you're driving, you might as well hand your keys over. You might as well just go to the cop and just tell them just to arrest you. I'm like, I had to stop the class. I put my hand up real quick. I'm like, whoa. I said, say that again.
LITG lit. I can't mess with them no more.
Yeah, I was like, yo, she like, I told her, I said, say that again. I can't. What? She said that is all the liquors, basically in the bar. That's all the liquors. I was like, damn, I didn't know that. She's like, yeah, just taking a sip, you're done. I was like, oh, she was like, don't worry. She said a dry martini is my favorite. I had to give it up too. That's unless I take a taxi or I was with friends. But lucky for her, she wasn't that far from a freaking bar, so she could just walk. But still, the fact was, it hurt my heart. So every time I ride with friends and they about to drink, I just stop. I'm like, you know what? Because she said if you drink a beer and you wait an hour, you sober up. So I volunteer myself plenty of times to be DD. Sometimes it sucks, but you know, it's good sometimes. I mean, you can still have fun. Yeah. You can still have fun drinking a Red Bull or a Monster or whatever they have behind the bar as an energy drink. Or if you do drink, just know that it's going to suck. You drink a beer and you got to wait an hour to have another one. I ain't going to lie. I'd be nervous after I finish drinking.
This is the thing everybody forgets about the designated driver. The designated driver has the best stories because they were sober enough to remember when everybody else was doing shit face. Who's telling the story? Paul. Why? Because he was the designated driver. Man, let me tell you about Chris. Chris had 4 LITs. Next thing I know, I'm looking at this dude butt cheeks. He on there like, what? Yeah, Paul, you don't remember that? Yeah, it's on Instagram right now. Hold on, let me pull it up on my phone.
Yeah, he's that
2,714 likes.
No, he's like that referee when you hear the two sitting there saying the story like, man, it ain't happen like that. I ain't mess with that big girl. Challenge. Morris, what you see? Man, look, dude, let's just say you got a little grabby. You know, you
gotta do it right. Upon further review, execution of the play has been called false. Big Red was present on the 15-yard line.
or you do the Mario.
It's crazy because when I get drunk, something can happen. I'm sober within 2 seconds. I see something pop off, I'm sober. I can sit knocking back Crown and Coke all night long. As soon as I see a fight break out, I'm complete sober.
Yeah. Hold on now.
Look at what Lawrence put. Oh my gosh. Lawrence put here's a bitch. Now I'm in the parking lots outside Fort Campbell Bar telling young cats, hey man, I wouldn't go get in that car. I guarantee they look at you like, huh? And then all of a sudden you got to show that badge, like,
He's out there in front trying to send everybody to Cat West.
Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all don't know what Cat West is, if you die around the Fort Campbell area, that's a strip joint. It's like right there across from that freaking Walmart where that gas station is. Oh my God, I can't believe I can remember this. But hold up, let's look.
Walmart next to a strip mall. God love America.
I'm saying, right? And he said Cat West is still a problem. I'm not even surprised. I can't believe. Yeah, I ain't even knowing that story. But let's. And the pink lady burned down again. Oh my gosh, that's the other strip joint.
Like every city got a one. Look, the pink lady for y'all is Sugar Bears for me.
Right.
We sitting here supposed to have a. Oh man. Okay. Let's go. All right. Let's go. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, even though this show got serious tendencies, we still gonna get to some serious part. We do need a laugh too, because that's laugh. hella crazy. Because the pink lady, I think that's like 3 times that sucker freaking burnt down, and dang it, Woodard is out. Dang Woodard, shoot, Cat West.
He was on the job. He was on the job. He's like,
yeah.
Oh, they called him. They beat me about twice. Now let me go and hop over here real quick.
Hopefully Woodard come back, y'all. Hopefully he does. So now let's go into the second one. This is the one that's for me. So racism. So when we talk about racism, people be like, okay, what racism? I mean, racism can happen in so many forms. systematically through the system, politics, your workplace, and you don't even realize it. Social media. I mean, racism have taken many forms as years progressed and went on. But mainly, go ahead.
It's funny when you say about racism. I literally just saw this right before the show. The South Park game that came out, the little role-playing game that they got. Mm-hmm. They have a color shaded on there, so you can make your own person or get as close to who you really are as you want to. But it has real-world racism attached to it. The darker your character is, the more negative attributes come with the game. And everybody knows South Park is real good for going there. So in a game where you get to be who you want to be, literally in the game, the darker you are, you win less money.
Oh wow!
So my white counterpart can do the exact same damage as I do and get more money at the end of the round. Things cost more for the darkers, and they do less damage and have tougher opponents when your skin is darker. And that's in a video game that's aimed towards children and pothead 20-something-year-olds.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
We talk about systematic racism. You can't explain it any easier than that.
Yeah. Which lead me to this. Now, I remember that I told you that I would never ever go to Alabama or Mississippi. I still say that to this day. I believe
there ain't money involved. It ain't money in less than an 8-hour trip. I ain't going.
Right. I will never, ever, ever, ever go to Alabama or Mississippi ever. That's why I always, I always root against their teams, other than Auburn. I don't root against Auburn because I always want Auburn to beat Alabama. I believe Alabama. Now I know there's a lot of Alabama fans out there. I'm gonna tell you why I hate them so very, 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 very much, very, very much with the state.
They're institute of slavery,
right? Because Nick Saban. I'm not gonna take nothing away from Nick Saban. I'm not a big Nick Saban fan, but I respect the game. I'm a respectable hater. I'm gonna be respectful when I say this, and being a hater at the same time.
I respectfully don't like you.
Right. And say it with a smile on my face. He has brung Alabama, that football organization, back to Providence. Not only dominant in the SEC, which I hate that conference with a passion, he brung them to being the SEC. You cannot say SEC without mentioning Alabama.
Roll Tide!
Basically, when you are in freaking Nashville, knowing that Nashville is not too far away from Knoxville, home of the Tennessee Volunteers, and you see nothing but Roll Tide taking over a bar that has nothing but those light orange and white checkers with the Vols logo, and you see nothing but Alabama jerseys, Alabama suits. You even see Cowboys, you think from Texas, with Auburn, crimson Auburn colors with that ugly ass ugly ass elephant. And every time they say "Sweet Home Alabama," Roll Tide, roll, and everybody's booing.
Yeah. Number one, you don't go fucking with Leonard Skinner. That's first and foremost.
Right.
Leave Leonard Skinner alone.
But don't worry, whatever, you good, man. Can I join this one? Hey, you know what? Yeah, Dan, yes, yes. We're gonna have you join the show. Hold on, let me go ahead and get you set up. But as I was saying, Alabama is an illustration of, for me, like I said, this is just me, y'all. I don't want y'all to go off the handle thinking that is Alabama. It's what Alabama has always been. is the slave master and his field slaves. I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but follow me. When the last time Alabama had a black coach?
Have they ever had a black coach?
Only one time. And they fired him quick.
I was really surprised to hear that. Like, I've honestly, Alabama is one, because of its area, is one of those areas I honestly didn't even, the thought of any type of black hierarchy and that type of organization didn't even cross my radar.
Because here's my thing with the whole Alabama thing. Here is where I stand with it. With Nick Saban knowing that majority of his players are black and seeing what is going on in society, he should be like the Greg Popovich of freaking college football. He should be the one sitting there acknowledging that he got a powerhouse of a football team and should know that majority of these players that he gets to join his team is from these poverty-stricken areas that's heavily policed, got a lot of drugs going through there, and nobody says a thing. And he doesn't say a thing. I guarantee you he's doing the same thing. Look, I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'm going to keep it real with y'all. Only one player have put Jerry Jones to task, and it's that new player we got. I will look up his name. Gerard Jr. He's a new DM, and I'm thinking the same thing. He's a new defensive player, and he's on the Cowboys, and he's excited. But he called out Jerry Jones, and he literally said his silence is loud. It's noticeable. A man who always had to put his face out there to put the Cowboy name out there to keep the money going. I knew Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is conservative upon conservative. But one thing I can say about Jerry Jones that people fail to understand, he takes good damn care of his players.
Yeah.
He loves his players.
He's a smart master.
Right. He loves his players, including old players. Him and Michael Irvin, he probably got Michael Irvin on speed dial. He probably got Emmitt Smith on speed dial. Troy Aikman on speed dial. The worst. Even though Deion. Yeah. Deion, he even probably got Des Bryant, even though Des Bryant wanted to be back on the team. But I guarantee you he got him on speed dial. So don't say that Jerry Jones is the racist, but his silence is making him look that way.
Yeah, it is.
It's making him look that way because just because you have, let's say, a group of black players that you love like kids, because Michael Irvin literally calls his wife mom. He said she's like a mom when I first went to the team. And Jerry Jones' wife has a history of doing that with players first coming in. She would treat them like their children, like give them hugs and all that stuff. But for him not to say that he could just come out and just say, all this is wrong. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give money to any organization that our athletes want to put forth in the organizations to help stop police brutality and help build these black communities.
No, because he's the worst type of racist.
Right.
Because you explaining this made me realize what Jerry Jones really is. And the easiest way I can explain it to people is you're a Jefferson racist. And when I say you're a Jefferson racist, I'm speaking of Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was not an actual racist. He did not approve of slavery, but he gained off of it financially. He made all his money, made his name off the backs of blacks.
Yeah, basically.
And he wrote papers on the fact that I'm conflicted because I do not agree with this act. I find it barbaric. I find it monstrous. I find it dehumanizing. But I see the financial gain that comes from it.
If I could be friends with a few of them, then I'm cool.
Now, he stepped it up. Yeah, I'm not going to say nothing, but if I don't treat them like slaves, even though that's how I'm pretty much using them or working with them, as long as I don't give them that impression, it'll take longer for the world to try to see that. Yeah. And it really wasn't until he opened his mouth about the new stadium and started making statements like, I don't really give a damn what happens or what's going on, long as people are in my stadium every Sunday. I don't care if my team ever goes back to the playoffs or wins the Super Bowl. Long as you're in my stadium every Sunday.
Basically, and so which lead me to this, for states like Mississippi, who will always be reckoned with racism, I say, and then also, states want to have states' rights, which stems from back in the Civil War. I say, let's give y'all state rights. If y'all have a lot of racism going on in your in your state, you should be cut from funding from the federal government. You should get penalized. Listen, this country is run on money. It's run on that greenback. That's what it all comes down to. And for states like Mississippi, and it could be from California. California may be the most left-leaning state on the face of this earth, maybe. But they got just enough racism as in Mississippi. You can put Mississippi up in California, and it still won't come up to the amount of racism that goes on in California. They should be cut from federal funding as well and get penalized.
I honestly feel like we should find some area and we should rezone a couple states, or just, well, fuck it. Let me just get right down to black tax about it. We need to take the congregated Northwest, where hardly any niggas or black folk in there, where we know there's a lot of racist white people there. And we just need to make that their land. Y'all want to be racist? You can move to these states, which are all close together, and these will be the racist section of America. Y'all can enjoy all the racist thoughts. Y'all can be as racist as y'all fucking want to be. Y'all can promote whatever bigotry and prejudice you want to on the cable access local stations between all y'all. If you want to make the Dakotas, Wyoming, and all them racist states, then that's what y'all do. And like Texas, y'all would be perceived as independent. Whatever businesses and viable services that you can produce out of those areas, that will only entitle you to government assistance and government help.
So basically what you're saying is move them to the certain states where all the races can go. Let's say, for example, let's say from Louisiana all the way down to Florida, that's where all the races will go. Almost coming close to a 4 acres of the mule, but for racist folks.
But it's like, because Texas is the only state, because of its location, it's the only state that's technically, it has the right to succeed. And it's the only state that can successfully succeed from the nation and act independent. Because they have the resources and the viable income and economy to run by themselves. They really don't need us. They got their own power, so they don't need the government.
Yeah. So we got two different ones. We got two different ones over here, which I can see. I can see yours. But if you really want to get them financially. If let's say here in Washington, So let's say
do both of them.
Yeah. So like here in Washington, the point is, it's not just taking the funding away from them. It's going back to what I was saying with the police. They should get penalized, and their funding should get cut for that precinct, not for all of the police officers for the police. but for federal with the state, cut that funding, fine them, and then the states got to figure out, how do we fix this problem? How do we fix it? So that will make the governor, will make all the mayors, all the managers and supervisors, what have you, in each and every one of those counties, and then also the cities, to really go to the black folks and be like, oh shit, we need to go to their leaders. Not even their leaders. We just need to go to somebody that's of high importance and start caring for these damn people. Or
I feel like that will work, but that's too close to what we're doing right now. Like, yeah. I feel like that would be a good starting point, but I feel like it would just be easier to just like, hey, the government says, hey, this is, if you feel some kind of way, if in your heart of hearts you just don't like being around other people of other color, then we as the government will allow you to move to this area. We will cover your moving fees, and colored people of this area, on the flip side, this is what we're doing. If you don't want to be around this mess, because they're coming here, we're going to section off this area just for the races. We know you lived here and you have the option to leave, and like the races moving in, we will pay for your relocation.
Hey, I just thought something. I just thought this, ladies and gentlemen, bear with me. This adds into reparations. Hear me out. Okay, so yeah, let's stick with the penalties and fines. Mm-hmm. Rather than having the governors be like, hey, mayors, supervisors of the counties and all that stuff, go to the black folks and see what's going on. Rather than doing that the funds, the penalties to that state, all the funds, majority of it goes to black communities.
Or just the black communities get first dibs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if the black community if X amount of money is not invested functionally,
right?
Functionally, we're not talking about slapping a coat of paint on the project and charging them $5.5 million, which they did down here.
First of all, Dan, you know it's been years since I seen you, man. How you doing?
I got old, man. I say Gloucester. I remember. You remember when it was my sister Mary had her birthday party, and we were all hanging out at my house in Gloucester. But I say I've known you since I was probably 12 years old.
Yeah, you my dog, man. I was like
18 years.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. I got a college freshman in there.
Yeah. this is my dog right here. Dan, honestly, it's good to see you. I still follow your sister Mary. Hope she's doing okay. How's the family, by the way?
Wife's doing good. She got little Dan in bed. He'll be 5 years old in September, and he's already 4 feet tall, 4.25 maybe.
Oh, damn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he going football. Take care of your knees and play football.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna tell you something. If you don't know that this is a nothing but country bunkers here, he got the swing outside on the porch.
Swing nice and quiet out here.
Yeah, I'm too dark. Nice I am too dark, and it's already dark outside. Y'all will not see shit. And I got the black shirt on. Y'all would just see teeth talking.
Right. So, trying to get on to the answer question. So, Dan, you're the second white friend that we had on this show with my bell buddy, David Guza. So, my question is this. So, we're talking about the aftermath of all this, the protests and everything. So, what do you want to see with the solutions? With after all is said and done, what solutions do you see?
Well, the defunding the police thing, I want to see them allocate resources where are needed, but I don't want to go as far as people are saying, because I actually watched a good documentary the other day about 1970s Germany, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after World War II, Germany was stripped of all of their stuff, said y'all can't have nothing, which was understandable. The 1972 Olympics, when the Israeli weightlifting team was taken hostage, Germany did not have, when I believe it was Munich, they didn't have any way of solving that situation. So 6 months after, they formed GSG-9, which was their counter terrorism unit, right? And then you think about the bank robbery in LA in the 90s. Speaking of AKs, the two armed guys with level 3 armor.
Yeah.
And the cops had to go to the gun shop guy and go, can we borrow that, and that, and we'll bring them right back after we use them. We've hit a point in our world with desensitization to certain acts of violence, whether it's video games or TV.
True. I 100% agree.
We don't necessarily need the gung-ho shit 24/7. But like my sister, I actually have my oldest sister works with law enforcement, and as she would say, if a bunch of crazy people take the school hostage, you need warriors that can come out of the back in the shadows and save the innocent people. They can sit back there till they're needed, but it's the gung-ho 24/7 shit that needs to stop. And allocating resources, like B said, to better training is what they need to do.
Yeah.
And also too, what B said about, having a bad cop jail, I see nothing wrong with that. Like Donnell, you were in the military. If you break the law in the military, you go to military prison. There was a movie, I believe it was called The Castle.
The Castle. I think I heard about that.
That was about military prison.
No, I'm thinking of The Rock. Sorry.
Same principle. You got to have a place to send them, because like Beast and you have both said, they wouldn't survive Gen Pop like other certain members of society would. But they got to get punished. But the gung-ho 24/7 thing, they got to chill out with that. But I have friends in law enforcement. I have family in law enforcement, and they all say the same thing. We don't want to be that guy. We don't want to be put in that situation, and they all pray they never have to be. But it's the ones like the guy in Minneapolis, and then like the guy in Atlanta. You met non-lethal force with lethal force. You can argue it either way of taser hits him in the eye, taser puts him down, blah, 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 blah. You ain't got to shoot the guy, though.
No.
They're because I'm a gun guy. I'm a crazy beast. I'm that crazy.
Yeah, we will talk about your AR. Yeah, we will talk about his AR.
So they're coming up with, there's actually a company that's trying to develop what's called, do y'all know what a bolo is?
Yeah, the bolo is.
I haven't heard of it.
With the two balls and the cable. They're trying to come out with one. Yeah, where you can shoot it at somebody and it wraps around them and it holds them tight so they can't like run or hurt anybody.
They have a net gun similar to that design. I've seen the net gun version of it, but I did hear something about a more bolo. The bolo side is pretty, like you said, it's just you throw it and the weights will cause, once it gets close to an object, they will automatically wrap it. It doesn't have to wrap the whole body. If it catches an ankle or an arm, those 2 to 3 weighted balls will give it enough weight to stop them. At least enough time for one person to get close enough, and then everybody else.
And you can completely take them down. Non-lethal deterrent.
It is.
It's a good non-lethal deterrent. And that's where, like, I was following the news from around the country, and I had posted a thing on Facebook today about Mika James. So Mika James was killed in Chicago over the weekend, 3 years old, in the back of his dad's SUV in Chicago. That's my worry, is that if we go too far with defunding the police, places that are already rough are going to get worse, and it's not fair to the people that want to just do an honest day's work. You know what I mean? Like, we can't go so far as to make the places that already need help worse.
Right. So, all right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dan. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you good. That's where I was with I just don't want it to go so far out in left field that we can't bring it back.
I got you. Yeah, you just don't want to take it to the point of where no point, no return, basically. Like, dang, it went this far. Yeah, Pandora's box. You know what they say about Pandora's box? You can't close it. But go ahead.
I was gonna say I agree with both of y'all. Really, it will boil down to the wording, because nowadays the knee-jerk reactions come off of the wording. Like you said, you hear the word defunding, and it automatically takes you to this situation. So you automatically attach that situation to the present situation and presume they're going to act accordingly. So you hear defunding. Most times you start hearing that during the hedge funds and the corporate Ponzi schemes.
Yeah.
Or during the stock market. That's when we start, and you saw how they responded. All the money was being frozen. People, like I said, good people that thought they were working a normal legal job got screwed over.
Right. All right. So this is what Lawrence put, my bell buddy, once again. Just based on what I carry on me, I have 6 different tools to subdue someone. I have 2 more in my patrol car. Options are not the problem. People are the problem. People in possible situations without the right mindsets are the problem.
I agree completely. I agree because like from
absolutely.
I'm taking martial arts my whole life, and anybody that's taking martial arts knows that once you get to brown black belt status, you have to get registered with your local law enforcement. Yep. So my hands have been registered since I've been 18. That has completely stopped me from wanting to engage people, even when I know I'm wrong, even when I know I've been wronged and I know I'm justified and physically being aggressive. I know that I have enough skill to not only incapacitate you, but cripple you or kill you, depending on my current mindset at that moment. And depending on how you respond in that situation, I might want to just defend myself, but you want to take it aggressive. So now I have to take it further.
Right. In other words, what he's saying is he can whip your ass. Keeping it 100 and keeping it real.
Well, it's like we're talking about with desensitization. It's the level, to me, it's the level, like Donnell, when me and you were kids, okay, we got a problem. Meet me in the weight room, meet me by the stadium, meet me in the woods on the other side of the parking lot. Right.
We go shoot the one and done.
The level of violence and how quickly people will go from 0 to up here over the littlest thing. Like I used to be a bouncer in Richmond, right?
Oh boy.
And I had a cat, I can't remember his name, so we'll call him Joe Cool. He came in every weekend and he handed me $50 and said, "Give me the bag right there." Hand him the bag. He would take off his nice shoes and put on his club shoes. And I asked him one time, "Why do you do that?" He goes, "They ain't looking at my feet in there. They look at my feet going in, and I'm not ruining $200 shoes."
Hey, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
So, but like witnessing, like I bumped into you, or I'm trying to walk through the crowd and my hand went too low and it brushed up against something, whatever it may be. I saw it all. And I mean, Lord Jesus, help me, please. When you get done breaking up the fight, well, what happened? He spilled my drink. He stepped on my shoe. Like I had one girl one time slapped a dude so hard I thought he lost his soul. He touched my hair.
Dang, okay. That's a hard ass slap.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. So it's just how quick people will get there over what could be trivial, maybe banter back and forth. You stepped on my shoe, prick.
But that comes from being young too. Like you say, you go back when we were younger, we were taught if you got an issue with somebody and you can't go about the peaceful manner, tell somebody, and y'all try to hash it out, somebody that could actually get in there, then you go handle it. And then once it's handled, y'all done with it.
All right, so let's go to the next one for handling business. So this is to you, Dan. So we was actually talking about states' rights, and that there's a lot of states, I already mentioned two of them that I don't like, that is plagued with racism. And I say, for all states that have issues with racism, their funding for the federal government should be cut and should be penalized. What do you say? Or if you have any other ways of like penalizing that state.
I would say just in general, because you don't want to cut complete funding off, because you want to keep funding for I'm sure you're talking about Alabama and Mississippi, right? So Biloxi Biloxi as a city, like every city in America, has rough neighborhoods. You don't want to cut off funding to the people that need it, but you can find ways to slide it in there. Like North Dakota years ago tried to pass an 18 drinking law because it's a state law, but it's, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, it's 21, whatever. So the federal government cut off their funding for their roads until they changed it back. Now, I'm not saying cut off the funding to the roads, but there is a way to get in there to get funding for certain things. Case in point for Alabama, y'all want to keep being like this. Y'all want to treat people like this, but you want to praise, he just got drafted, Tua. Yeah. So you want to put Tua up here on a pedestal and go Crimson Tide, but behind closed doors, y'all acting like a bunch of bigots. I think Alabama just lost $1.2 million for next year. How you going to deal with that? Maybe not affect the educational stuff, but if you want to hit them where it hurts.
I was about to say.
It wraps up everything I was saying.
Hit them where it don't necessarily hurt the people that want to do good. Don't hit them in the pocket. But I'll admit it, I've met a lot of Alabama fans in my life, and they're kind of douchey. So maybe if they had a few years without a bowl game, or we're not going to recognize you as the SEC champs, something. Like you could do something like that, because outside of that, what does Alabama have?
Yeah.
Because Auburn's actually pretty good. I'm with you, Donnell. I'll root for Auburn.
Yeah, I'll root for Auburn all day.
But Crimson Tide, Ole Miss Rebels.
Other than football, what do they have? Like I don't know anybody that has graduated there, or I've never heard of anybody from Alabama from a scholastic standpoint.
Right.
Always.
To be fair to Alabama, in Tuscaloosa, you got the Bronx Bomber. What's his name? The Bronx Bomber, the boxer. Goddamn, his name ain't. He always says Bomb Squad, and that's the only thing I can think about from Alabama. I know a lot of people who's an Alabama fan from Alabama. We're not racist. If you're saying that, you need to look at your history. If you're sitting there saying we're over that, that's a big freaking issue. But at least we're seeing,
you never get over getting stabbed. You never get over getting shot. You never get over getting slapped.
Mm-hmm. And
I might not remember the girl, but I remember every time a female slapped me in the face.
Right. And that's the point right there. That's the point we're getting to. It's like you can't be nice and love me when I'm doing something for you, but then when it comes to me, now all of a sudden, who you think you is? Now you all uppity and da 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 da. F you.
Because they tried appeasing Hitler, and we all saw how that worked out. You can't appease them. At some point, you got to slap them.
Mm-hmm. And going back to what you were saying, Dan, you made a great point. Was when don't hit the people that it will really hurt. I will go further to say hit the people that's getting the money, the suit, the ties. Go for them. The one that sit there and say, I'm for the people, but we know you're doing your dirty dealings. Even when you get these road fixed, you know you're not putting all your money into it. You're just putting some money just for it to function. Like me being before I joined the military, I was a construction worker. I've worked on the side of the roads. I mean, the funding that we were getting, how much we got paid, it was downright freaking ridiculous. And a lot of them who every time I see a construction worker or see them working on the side of the road, I slow down to almost 15 miles per hour and I'm on the interstate.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's how much respect I have for them, because I know how it feels. where you just be working, and it could be that one time you're not paying. Well, they're not paying attention, or you're not paying attention, and boom, there go your life right there.
You focused on your job.
Right. And one thing I can applaud Washington here, they actually, and my phone, well, getting focused. They actually have a billboard, a sign, just like when you're about to turn the exit. They have a sign that literally says your tax dollars at work. And I believe that we need something like that every day. So when these states are doing the wrong thing with racism and not dealing with it, it should be a brochure that they have to send out in an embarrassment to show the people that, oh, wow, our state is really fucked up. This is something that has to be addressed. Like, guess what? Now we don't have this money for, let's say scholarships. Now we don't have money to have a parade. Now we don't have, we're not even going to get the Super Bowl here. And I'm not just talking about Southern states. I'm talking about, I'm talking about
all of them. Yeah.
I'm talking about even New York. Oh, imagine the federal government taxing New York.
Or telling better yet, like to go with what Dan was saying, get real specific, but get detailed. So like for every county, you got to go through there and see where the what the difference is. Like, for example, in my city, the west side is the white side. That's the side that's going to get the money. If money's coming into the city, it's going to be the west side, and the side's closest, and everything close to the interstate and the highway, and then they'll move out to the residential areas.
Right.
And eventually hit the black side. So, like you said, we're gonna cut that money that y'all had scheduled for this west side reconstruction. No, that's going to be reallocated to take care of this much needed issues in the lesser communities that y'all already haven't been paying attention to.
Right.
And we're going to continue to allocate that money into their communities until y'all get your shit together. Since this area seems to be prevalent with racist issues, with racist undertones.
Yeah.
And we see that the racist people involved are predominantly in this area. We're going to cut off and slash the funding for this area and reallocate it to the opposite side. And the original area will only get access to funding once they get their shit together.
Yeah.
Once y'all numbers drop, once the issues drop, and we're not talking about just after a week or so or a year. No, we need a consistent, sincere effort that if you got 55% of your white population in your town is racist, that shit need to drop down to about 35, 30, 29. We ain't asking for zero. We're not expecting that. We asking for a decrease. And until that number gets lower and lower, you're not gonna get no money, or you're not gonna get the money you think you're gonna get.
Like we were talking about New York, and this is what kills me. And Donnell, I'm from Virginia, and I got friends from Massachusetts. I had a buddy I worked with, Ricky Bobby. I called him when he used to get on my nerves. I call him Billy Yank, and I call him Yankee. But all seriousness, the one thing that kills me about New York. There's a story, because I'm a history guy. I've studied history, like the stuff they won't teach you, the stuff that you got to find out on your own. In 1863, the draft riots broke out in New York City over the Civil War. And what New York probably won't admit to is they burnt to the ground a black orphanage during the riots. So, yes, New York was on that side of the war. But don't act like you're innocent, because I've met a lot of people from New York. Because, I lived in Tampa for 2 years. A lot of snowbirds down there.
Times Square, the land where Times Square was, it might be Times Square, but one of the more notable areas of New York was originally a black township.
Yep.
And they clear cut the entire town, like pretty much Black Wall Street, and then built up on top of it, and then mentioned nothing about it. They literally built over the town and the graves of the blacks and kept it moving.
And the funny thing is that you brought up the orphanage being burned down. Here's another fact: if y'all ever watched that movie, what's that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio when he was he was an immigrant?
Gangs in New York.
And you saw how they rioted when they had that's the war.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, right there. And I said, I know where he's going to. But
yeah,
I'm going to read this from Lawrence real quick, not to cut you off, Dan. So this is what he put. He said, "Gentlemen, I thought just came in that I wanted to put out to you. Most local police officers have a ride-along program," which is true. Not right now because of COVID and all that. "I highly encourage you to go ride with someone for a shift, not as a I told you so thing, or to try and see something crazy." And I think that's a misconception of people trying to do that. "I've enjoyed this discussion. I think I'm having a different view and can only add to points you've been making." And I'm happy that you're doing that, Battle. I'm so happy.
I
What
agree
up,
with
Joplin? What's up, Joplin?
Especially anybody that is not directly affiliated with law enforcement on a personal level. Like you ain't got no close friends or family that are in law enforcement that could give you that insight. Then yes, I would definitely suggest taking a ride along.
Well, So I want to get this information to Teach, because I really wanted to talk to her about it. There's a book that my sister Liz told me about, my oldest sister. And it was a book, it was written by two homicide detectives that worked in LA from the late 70s up through the 90s. And it was called Ghetto Homicide. And the book is them two pretty much talking about all the murders they tried to solve, all the work they tried to do, and everything else. And it's a really good book because they felt like, they say in the book multiple times how, they're the detectives, but the street officers are working the scene, and they would reprimand officers, "Tape this up. This is part of the scene. You're not doing your job right. We got to catch this guy. What are you doing? Stop being lazy." Like, they talked about how over the course of their careers, it got better, but they had to help fix all the issues within the department. You know what I mean? It's kind of a rough book to get through, because it's kind of like Boys in the Hood and Straight Outta Compton into a book, but it's from, like a cop's perspective that's trying to help the community and stuff like that. And if we had more like them that cared that wholeheartedly, because the one officer lived in the Crenshaw district, he bought a house out there. If we had more like that, we'd be so much better off.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I'm happy that my boy Lawrence, my boy Woodard, who used to be in the law enforcement, and then you, Dan, for putting your inspiration into it too. Because one thing on this show is that we're not going to come out and straight out and say we hate it. There has to be a reason why we say we hate it, but we know that there are good police officers out there. But like what Cheech is saying, we're just talking about the bad ones. But for today, we're talking about the good ones and how they can impact the community. And that I encourage more police officers or anybody who has a background or a family member, or maybe even lost somebody from, in the line of duty for law enforcement, to come on this show and let's talk about it. Not only just talk about it, let's get to the solutions.
Exactly.
And I think they probably would say the same exact thing that we've been saying all along through this show. And that, that if a precinct is doing something wrong, just like with the states, there should be a fine and penalty, because everything goes back to the almighty dollar and those unhappy dead presidents. You take that from somebody, if you take that from somebody's funding, you could just take, I would say, take a quarter of their funding.
I was about to say 30%. They I was about to say at least 30%. At least 30%, just to show them that you're serious.
Right. Mm-hmm. And my boy Joplin, this is what he put. Hopefully y'all can be able to see it. He says, "I think the lie detector test keeps a lot of good dudes with a lot of qualifications as well as knowledge of what's going on in the streets from being police officers."
Right here.
I agree with that. And here's the thing: you don't need no funding with that. What you need? How much does a lie detector test is? Maybe you gotta pay for like the people to conduct it. If any of y'all watch any of the what's a show? Yes, I'm a reality show nut. Forgive me. I like the part in Marriage Boot Camp where they actually have the couples do a lie detector test. They do a lie detector test. They say, I want them to, this question asks, either the judge deny it and replace with another one, or she modifies the question, or she keeps it. I think that's a good point, Joplin. I think if you do have a lie detector test, you will know what type of mindset the officer will have. Let me see.
Not even a lot of tests. You have to have a real psychological background,
right? And then also
like you have really not know. Okay,
and a tough stomach.
Yes.
Yeah, because you have to have. If it ain't up here, 9 times out of 10, it ain't gonna be right here.
Nope.
If you got the stomach for it, but they ain't got the mindset for it, that's an issue. And a lot of these dudes, that's the problem. They got the stomach for the violence. They got the stomach to be evil and have this type of cruelty over. They ain't got the mindset to go about it in a constructive, positive manner.
All right. Which lead me to this. Also with the police officers, as you know, they don't even have a handful of black people. And I was hearing the argument, this has been going on for a while. It was like, why it should be black people policing the black community. And I agree with that to an extent, because I follow this one police officer. I think he's down there in Georgia or something like that. I forgot his freaking name. They love him in the community. I'm not using him as the example, like, you know, he's the Messiah, the white dude that's in the black community, and he's the Messiah. More people should be like him. Yes, they should be more like him as a good police officer. But it also shows that you can have different people that of a different skin tone actually.
You need to have the right caliber of people. Like, you want to hit the right notes. If I have a predominantly black area, I don't just need any black person as a cop. I need a black person with the equivalent of the white officer you speaking of. I need everybody of all races of that caliber. Because because it might be, because like when me growing up, I lived in a predominantly black neighborhood, but we had whites and Filipinos and other Asians that lived and congregated in their own little section. So just because y'all send a black officer to a predominantly black neighborhood doesn't necessarily mean they're going to interact with a black individual.
Are y'all able to see what Joplin has put down?
They have a light attached.
What's y'all take on that?
I mean, when I applied, because I applied for a couple of municipalities around Virginia, what got me, and this is what some people don't think of when they're young, is for a couple of points here, you have to admit to undetected felonies. So like I posted in the beginning of the video, like Granddad on the Boondocks, I miss my Mary Jane and I miss her dearly some days. But you have to admit to that. Like when I admitted that, like when I was in high school at Thomas Dale, I ran a sports book for 5 years and I did very well. It just disqualifies you. They don't want to do it. But at the same time, if you're in a situation growing up where you smoked a little grass, you've been broke, you've had money, you lost money, but you have the driving desire to want to do this job and you're a good person at heart, but you've experienced all those things, I think it would make you better qualified to do the job. Because if you go into a lower income neighborhood, whatever it may be, whether it's, you know, the south side of Richmond, the trailer park in Gloucester, whatever it may be, you have an understanding of what the people are going through, what their struggles might be, how the school system. And that's the point I make
about being qualified. You need proper. To better explain how people need to be qualified, go back and listen to Chris Rock at the end of Head of State. Why did he say he deserved to be the president? Because he's a real American. I've been broke. I've been robbed. I've been high. My credit's so bad they don't want to take my cash. I have been every dirty, filthy thing that America could make you, and I'm still here. I'm still standing, and I'm still trying to do better.
And Joplin, I forgot. Joplin is from where we at, Dan. He's a Virginia boy himself. He's a country bucket too.
You need them type of people out there. Because I was attached also to Christianity, because we spoke on that earlier too. I always laugh when Christians think that because I didn't do anything growing up that makes me a better Christian than you. But if you read the Bible, all the best Christians and all the most notable Christians were some fucked up people.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes God moving through a dirty individual or a dark individual to show you that there's true light in the world. Just look at Peter. Everybody loves Peter. No, not Peter, Paul. Y'all forget, Paul was murdering the same people he praising with prior to finding God. Before he found God, he said, fuck Christianity, all y'all can die. I will cut your head off myself. And then God showed him, and now he changed. Who better than a man that killed these people to now praise with these people and praise for these people to show you that the God they serve is a real God? Right. Take that same mentality when you're doing this. Who better than a person that lived in that neighborhood, that had their run-ins with the law, that had their stumbles and their obstacles, but still overcame, still always strive for more? That's the type of individual that you want in the neighborhood. Because if I messed up and get arrested by a cop like that, that cop is gonna go out of their way to truly like talk to me and treat me civilly. Right. He's gonna go out of his way not to be violent. And at the end, he's gonna do more for my life than I did for his.
All right. So now we're gonna get into we're gonna get deeper on this one. This is gonna be our last segment for the show. The big one is reparations. There's no running away or getting away from that. So a lot of people just think reparations is about money. It's not all about the money. It's about what we've been talking about majority of the show, and that is resources, land, education, all that stuff. So I'm just gonna open up the floor to both of you, and then Dan. Like I said, you don't white run on this show, so I want to get your side on it too. Don't hold nothing back. So my question is, reparations, what would it look like?
For me, true acknowledgement. Throwing money at it, like say, for example, throwing money at you guys is not gonna, it's like putting a Band-Aid over cancer. It's not like, oh, here you go, here's some money. Yeah, we good. Bye, Felicia, whatever. You got to acknowledge the true devastation from beginning to end. Acknowledge the fact that the Civil War happened. Then there was so many years of Jim Crow and just jacked up shit. Then you get to the 60s, Civil Rights Movement. And then you get to about 30 years where people think it's all hunky-dory. But take, for example, there was a article I read about Memphis, Tennessee with Lemoyne Garden. Lemoyne Garden was built with the good intentions by Franklin Roosevelt as part of the New Deal to be like housing to where, oh, well, we'll get you here and this will help you get here. But getting here never happened. So you have generations of people that were put in an area that wasn't supposed to be temporary, and then they were forgotten about. Poor schools, poor funding, shitty policing for many years. People are disenfranchised. It's the acknowledgement of not just this from back in the day, it's the whole damn thing up to 2020. That's what gets me is everyone wants to we all talk about the past, the deep past. But for me, it's the last 50 years where I don't feel people talk enough about the building of the projects, what they were supposed to be, what they turned into. And then you have 2-3 generations of people in Memphis, Chicago, New York, you know, Cabrini Green in Chicago, Lemoyne Garden in Tennessee. In Charlotte, you had Hidden Valley, where people were just shoved there and forgotten about. Well, everybody at some point, everybody becomes intelligent and they learn what's surrounding them. And now people are pissed off. So, like, to me, because I lean Republican, the Democrats doing what they're doing, to me, they're just, we cool. It's an acknowledgement of everything up until now. That's what gets me about it. Like, I'm willing to admit it's been jacked up. It's been jacked up for 50, 60 years. Before that as well, obviously. But the last 50 or 60, well, we did this and we did that and we did this and we did
No.
Yeah. Nah.
But
if you look at the backside of it, that's where they don't acknowledge what they've done recently. And it's disenfranchised. Look at LA, the Watts riots, and then 20 years later in the 90s, they had another riot. If everything was supposed to be hunky-dory after 1963, why did LA almost burn to the ground twice? Forgotten about, disenfranchised. That's what gets me.
So here's what Joplin just put down. Hopefully y'all can all see it.
If you want to, Donnell, I can actually speak to that because of my heritage.
Go ahead.
So my grandmother, my dad's mother, came of age as a teenager when the Nazis took over Austria. She wasn't Jewish, but her family dealt firsthand with, her father lost his job at the soap factory because the Nazis took the horse he took care of, so he lost his job. And my grandmother was actually, have y'all ever seen the movie Swing Kids? She was a swing kid. She danced to American jazz in illegal nightclubs because grandma wasn't about it, right? So past that, her brother, my great uncle Peter, had children in Germany and Austria because Hitler's from Austria. You know, Donnell, when we were in middle school, it was like, oh, we're going to Richmond for a field trip, or we're going to DC for a field trip. Over there, they send you to Auschwitz for a weekend and you have to do maintenance on the camp, paint the walls, clean the grounds, and they shove it in their face. Hey, this is what we did. This is what happens when we don't think for ourselves and we follow an idiot one time. We got to acknowledge it. You look it up in Germany, they make those kids keep that camp up and they shove it in their face. And on top of that, like we're talking about the flag and all the crazy shit, go to Germany and do this one time and somebody will jack your ass up. Like it's illegal. The flag is illegal. The salute is illegal. The gathering is illegal. Other countries handle it very differently. Except for the rest of Europe, because Belgium still hasn't paid for what they did to Africa. England hasn't paid for what they did to Hong Kong and India. Even
Britain's not going to pay for anything. Britain's got to pay the world. Let's just keep it real. Britain has to pay the world.
That's real. So, like Germany had their incident with the Holocaust, and they paid for it, and they shove it in their kids' face of, "Hey, don't forget." You know. So around the world, they
only speak on Hitler when it comes to that, and that's because it was like I told him, it was the Jews, and I agree with you. They have to acknowledge, because that was how they did the Jews before they paid them and say, "No, here's some money. Hey, here's a big ass sorry, and we fucked up.
Yeah,
will you accept this money?" And now, by accepting this money, you acknowledge that, yeah, we fucked up. Yeah, we're sorry. And we're just not going to speak on this ever again. Cool?
Yeah.
The Jews took the money, accepted the apology.
Yeah. I just don't want, like me speaking to you guys, I just don't want it to be like we're making a movie and one of y'all comes to me and says, "Hey, we're having a problem shooting the scene with production." Oh, that's fine. Throw some money at it. I just don't want it to be empty cash. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be blood money.
Right.
I don't want it to be blood diamonds. I want it to have meaning and purpose.
And see, and just to add on to what you just said, because you made a perfect point. Like, if we're making the movie and we're asking you for more funds, rather than just giving us more funds, you'd be like, okay, all right, I can give you money until you blue in the face. What else do you need? What else?
What's the real issue?
Right. Or do you need me to be there so I can see what's exactly going on without being rude or anything? And I'd be like, yeah, come on, see what we got going. Because knock on wood, you will have those who just be like, oh, I got the money, but you don't got the resource to back it up. You don't have the resource to even know how to start a business or be an entrepreneur, or you don't even have the land to even build your business on. Where are you going to put your home at? How you know how to own a home? Where's all the loopholes that people that is making billions and millions by the day, nowadays by the minutes, take that back, by the milliseconds, we should be learning those loopholes. And also, it's doing a disservice, and this is one thing people don't want to talk about. It's also doing a disservice to low-income white folks too, as well, because
that's why I made the statement about the areas, because
we
you don't want to become a racist thing,
right? Because now, because definitely with history, I know you heard of the Lily White movement, where white folks like, oh, woe is me. But the same thing was happening to black folks, but it was hurt to black folks in a different level. But at the same time, these poor white folks were feeling it at the same time too, as well. So they were sitting there saying like, look, we understand that y'all going through y'all struggles, y'all going through y'all pain, but remember, y'all still white. What it should have been, that poor white man should have been like, you know what? My brother over here, this brother over here is going through the same damn shit. Why the hell I'm going against them and we in the same damn thing? They get it 10 times worse and we throwing it in their face, but we're struggling too. Right. We're struggling over here too. I can barely get a job. He can barely get a job. I'm sitting there worried about my kids over here and it's doing the same damn thing over here. Why the hell I'm going against them? And now the chickens are coming home to roost. It's coming over now because now it's happening to black folks on a higher level with the police brutality, but then also it's happening to white folks. I just saw a video where a white dude was paralyzed in the passenger seat, and he told the guy to like get out the car, and he kept telling the guy, I'm paralyzed. Literally pulled him out the car, and his pants went down. I even got into it with somebody, and I mentioned this on a couple shows ago, where I got into it with somebody on Instagram because he's there saying, well, you think it only have the black folks? See me, I got pulled over by police too. And I said, the only difference is you survived. But it's not neglecting that it does not happen to white folks. It just happened to black folks a hell of a lot more. But at the same time,
like they said, we acknowledge the fact that we're not the only ones that catch it.
Right.
And so y'all to acknowledge the fact that it happens to us more.
Right. And so just to be disingenuous saying that it happened to me too, you should have been like, damn, it happened to this. What you should be saying when you say it's happened to me. Like, damn.
You too?
Yeah, you too. Or like when people say all lives matter, they should be like, damn, man. You know what? All lives matter. Black lives matter. Yeah. I said, if I'm meaning all lives matter and you're having the issue, you're having the problem, I'm gonna stop what I'm doing, use all my resources to help you to get on your feet. And that's the point that I really want to make for these shows as well. Like I said, Dan, first of all, and everybody else who's on the show, welcome to our world and how we see it. And how you came up in here and came on the show and was understanding and spent some knowledge on me. And I know, and then everybody up in the comments, my bell buddies and everybody that's up in here that spent knowledge too, I appreciate you. Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah, but this is a dialogue. This is not no conversation, because we can have a conversation about anything and don't get nowhere. The dialogue is actually what gets to the root of the solution, because me and Beast Johnson, we could have, and Dan could have just went on a tirade on how much things are an issue. But if we do not get to the solution, one thing a sergeant major told me and my bell buddy, he said, when you come to me with a problem, you better have the solutions, because if you don't have the solutions, I'll consider it as a complaint or complaining, which is true. Yeah. I can sit there And then also another factor into that, I could sit there, I could tell on you about anything, but I can't. But I better tell my damn self. It's all about accountability.
I'll take it a step further. When you made that statement, I'm reminded of a youth pastor that had us have a mantra that says, excuses are tools of the incompetent. They build monuments of nothingness. They seldom accomplish anything. Therefore, I have no excuses.
That's
true. Accountability. Good, bad, or ugly. I have no excuse for why'd you do it. I could lie to you, or you want to hear the truth. You might not like the truth, but it ain't an excuse. But I tell you where my mind was. This is not an excuse, though. Right. I don't excuse what I did. I'm telling you where my mind was at and what the situation was that led me down this path.
And this also goes when people sit there saying, why are you rioting and looting? I'm like this. Let's stop right there. What led to the rioting and the looting? Let's not even worry about the looting, to the rioting. People were pissed off. People were mad. People, when they did it peacefully. I know a lot of people not agree with Kaepernick. I agree with Kaepernick. As a veteran, I don't think that he did was disrespectful. He did peaceful. He did say why he did it. Now, if he did that and he didn't say why he did it, and he said it later, oh hell yeah, I will understand why everybody would be pissed. But he said exactly what he was doing. They did peacefully. Black Lives Matter came out and they protested peacefully, and they still doing it. I actually went to a couple of the protests here, peaceful. But then you got areas that did protest and they got, how can I say, they got enabled or they didn't continue with the protest because they were getting tear gas. But let's not forget, there were service members, there was police officers, there were police chiefs that said, our goal, our job is to protect you. And if you want us to come on these marches and march with you, that's what we're going to do. And that's exactly what they did. So like that old saying goes, you can't have the good without the bad, but then also you can't have the bad without the good. We just can't look at it one way. We got to look at it both ways. Like, even if I disagree with somebody, I always say this because the interviewer come out of me. I always want to meet people in the middle of the track. As me as an interviewer, I have to jump on that side of the track to see, why do Dan think that way? Why do he think being a Republican is great? I'm not going to demonize just because he's a Republican. I want to see why he's a Republican. And the crazy thing is, I have as much as a great conversation with a Republican as much as I do with a Democrat. For anybody who leans left and leans right.
Yeah. I don't care how you lean. It's when you start standing. Because everybody leans one way or the other, depending on the situation. I consider myself a liberal because there's certain Democratic points that I agree with. There's certain Republican points that I agree with.
Right.
Overall, I find myself down the middle. Overall, I agree with both points. I feel like we should be bipartisan and just really take all the bullshit that y'all saying, throw that to the side, and put all the good together.
Right.
But both of y'all,
like
both sides,
they got good points. The libertarians got good points. Sorry to cut you off, Beast. The libertarians are like the best of both worlds, but they lose.
Yeah.
God bless them. They try, but they lose.
Right. Exactly. I mean, because they so used to a two-party system. Like me, I'm more on the left as a progressive. But once again, we lose. I mean, look what a lot of people didn't agree with Bernie Sanders. I agree with a lot of points with Bernie Sanders. But I'm going to tell you one Republican. I would say this, that I really did like. Unfortunately, he can't run. He's too old. Was Bob Dole. Want to know why?
Bob Dole.
Bob Dole. Yeah, Bob Dole. You know the reason why I like Bob Dole?
Bob Dole's a real man.
The reason why I like Bob Dole was because he was one of the first in my lifetime, first Republican to go into a black community. He went to a black community. He didn't just go to he did go to a church, even though I'm against that. He actually held a rally in black communities. I was like, Well,
he ain't just doing this for show. He ain't doing this for show.
No, he was actually he did what no Republican politician will ever do. Hopefully, one will. But he went into that community, even though people love Bill Clinton. Black folks love Bill Clinton. Let's not get twisted. They loved him.
Because we knew at that point Bill was going to be the closest thing to a black president we was ever going to get.
Right.
We had no idea that Obama was on the horizon. We saw this smooth talking white man. We knew he smoked bud. He played jazz. He always had some random female popping up talking about something. I know him. Bitch, stay to the side.
Right.
Chill.
And
always when the side bitch want to pop up. Chill.
And then not to mention, he went on the Arsenio Hall show. I mean, you can't get no blacker than that.
Yeah,
so,
you can't get better than that.
No. Like I said, you go on the Arsenio Hall show, crack jokes, and then end it playing the jazz sax.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't but two white men out here that could pull off a sax. Bill Clinton and Cool G.
And then not to mention, he had on the shades too. He wore his
because he was high. Because he was high. Him and Arsenio probably smoked one before the episode because he was like, "Hey man, come back here. We gonna talk."
Right.
He's like, "You want to light up? Light up with the president candidate? Hell yeah, I want to light up with Bill Clinton."
Which lead back to Bob Dole. Bob Dole went to black communities. He sat there and he listened. He didn't say, "This is what I would do." A real true politician would shut up, sit back, and listen. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Don't tell me what you're going to do. This is what a politician, ladies and gentlemen, because November is coming. It's fastly approaching. Mm-hmm. This is what these politicians should be doing campaigning. But unfortunately, we got the virus going on. This is what they should be doing. Sitting down, listening,
taking notes,
or have their assistant taking notes, asking them questions like, how's the community? What is your local representative doing to help improve your life and all that stuff? This is what should be happening. That's what Bob Dole did. That's exactly what he did. Bob Dole shut up, he listened, and he, even though he didn't get the numbers in the black community to win, but he had enough. I think he got the most.
Bob Dole is the reason for the black Republicans of today.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yes. Even though it's a few of them that take it too far, and then you got some on the left that take it too far too. So I'm gonna keep it, like I said, I'm gonna keep it all the way funky. But there are some black Republicans, some black conservatives that makes a whole lot of sense and also see the flaws with what's going on their perspective side. Like, hey, that's racist. That's racist.
I feel like we should coin a new term. It's you should, if no matter what your political view is, if you can understand the other side, then you should be like Dan. I would consider him an honest Republican. Because yes, he has Republican views, but he's honest enough to see the fault within his own section as well as the benefit within the other. Like he can see the points from the other side. That's an honest person.
Right.
Oh yeah. Well, here's the funny thing, and this will blow y'all's hair back. I graduated in 2008. I've been voted in 3 elections. I haven't picked a loser yet. I jumped sides in the last one. And I got to tell you, the man's an asshat. He's entertaining at times, but he's mostly an asshat.
Yes.
But that's why we need more than 2 parties. Because
it can't be a less than 2.
Yeah, it's like Hillary and Trump. It's like, which turd smells a little less stanky today?
Yeah. Do we take a overbearing? Do we make the first female president an overbearing, borderline narcissistic, possibly sociopathic creature, or do we take this orange Cheeto stained with no wind resistant wig having, entertaining asshat that he is. But I mean, he's great for his show. He's going to give us our numbers. Like, people will definitely be watching America this year. Like, this presidency season, oh, they're going to be watching.
Oh yeah,
they watch.
The aliens are tuning in this year.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Look, they probably doing what he's doing right now, taking a sit back, thinking, man, I hope he come back for next season. I hope they let him do a repeat.
I would add on to this conversation, but technically I'm still in, so I'm just enjoying. But I am trying to plan a political show, so when the election comes, so I want to we have a watch party. Yes, y'all heard it here first. Speaking of heard it here first, we got to go to our final thought, but our final thought is going to be sponsored by this great network that's going to be coming real soon. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Wet Network. You better watch out for it in the middle of July. Which I will extend olive branch to Dan, if you know, since you are an educator. You got a lot of knowledge in history, which I love history too, by the way. Can have your own show. We can talk more about it at the show if you want to. But we're here for the final thought. So, Dan, let me go ahead and explain how final thought goes. It's basically a wrap up of the show. You can add on to more thoughts to the subject or something entirely different. So, since this your first time on the show, you are first up to bat.
All right. Well, it's great being on the show. I've listened to every episode since it started. Donnell, I've known you a long time. The one thing I can say is this. Don't let what you think your political identity, your party, how you vote, don't let that dictate who you are. And meet everybody you can in life, talk to everybody you can in life, and learn everything you can in life, and meet friends of all races, of all backgrounds, so they can help teach you. That's what you need. I've met many people in my walks of life from all different backgrounds that have taught me 100 different things, 100 different ways to look at it. And you got to have an open mind and you got to have fun with it. Ask questions. Don't be afraid of the answers. Just ask the question. I worked with a guy named Jeff. I didn't know nothing about good sneakers. Jeff didn't know anything about guns. Jeff taught me about sneakers. I taught Jeff about guns. We had a great friendship, and I knew that me and him were great friends when we sat in a meeting with our boss and he called me and him Merton Riggs. Experience things in life, meet new people in life, get their story, get their feelings. Listen. How you voted in the last election isn't who you are today. What you did 8 years ago isn't who you are today. It takes a village, it takes a town, it takes a bunch of people, and you're continually growing. And I've had such a good time on the show. I got to end it on a good note, guys. I wish y'all were here so I could give y'all a little sip. Get flavor in your life, learn, explore, talk. Don't be single-minded. And that's all I got for you tonight.
My final thought is going to be inform yourself. Like Dan said, always ask questions. Always be inquisitive. Know that the more you know, the better you can be. If you don't understand a particular thought or a particular view and someone else has expressed it, ask their view on it. You might gain the knowledge or insight that you're looking for. Knowledge is all around us. It's up to us to open our eyes, our ears, and our minds in order to receive. So stop with the closed-mindedness. Stop with the narrow-mindedness. If you truly want to live life, if you truly want to experience things and have those beautiful memories at the end of your day, then you got to open yourself up to everybody and love one another. Know that regardless of how this person looks or carries themselves, at the end of the day, they're just like me. They're trying to live, they're trying to survive, they're trying to love. I should treat them the same. And that's my thought.
And now it's me. Ladies and gentlemen, my final thought is this. What you saw was America. You saw 3 men. 2 chocolate, 1 vanilla. Having the conversation, well, I wouldn't say conversation, dialogue. I think conversation is the easy thing to say because on the surface you would think that. But if you was actually listening to the conversation, you will hear more than just a conversation. You will hear a dialogue. Dan chose to be on this show and stepped into our world, just like my boy David Gosa did. Me and Dan go back, way back, just as much as me and my boy Gosa, but me and Dan go way, way back. And for him to come on this show and all the things we said about the police and what we said about states that has pure racism, he just sat back and listened. That's exactly what he did. And not to mention at the same time, spitting knowledge. And I'm telling anybody and everybody, no matter if you're black or white, if you have these tough conversations with somebody that look differently than you, mainly if they're white, and all they're coming back with is, what about this? What about that? People like me go through it. They're not your friends. It should make you think about their friendship. Think twice about it. Are you just using me just because it's cool to say that you have a black friend? Or he just want to have you as a friend because he don't want to seem racist. And people don't understand this neither. It can also be flipped. It could be that one white kid that's telling that black dude, like, man, hey, look, dude, I got it better than you. And not saying that in a bad way. Like, dude, you have to realize how hard you have to work just for you just to be here in this nice school, to be the only black dude on this football team, or the only black dude, let's say, in debate class. Do you realize that you're not just here just because you're here? You're here because you have to work hard. Sometimes it takes the opposite race to sit there smacking in your head like, look, man, it's just only one of you. They're not going to tell you because they think it's okay, because they're good. I'm here to tell you, if you do not realize that you're the only brother or only sister in this class full of white folks, and I'm the one who's white that's telling you that this is wrong and you don't see nothing wrong, something's wrong with you. So it's not always us, the black folks, that's sitting there saying, white folks, y'all need to sit down and listen. Sometimes it's the white folks have to sit the black person down like, look here, dude. You can say you're doing everything right now, but if you do the one wrong thing, all that's gone. Just like that. So like I said, you just can't say you gotta have the good with the bad, but you have to have the bad with the good. So to my black folks, to my white folks, to my Mexican folks, to all of y'all, I had one person who told me this and it made me laugh, but it's true. America is like a salad. You got the lettuce. You got the mushrooms. You got the onions. You got the raisins. You got whatever. And you just toss it up. People say we're a melting pot. I think the salad is much more better because a salad ain't a salad until you have those little mixes. A pizza ain't a pizza unless you got tomato sauce, mozzarella cheese, pepperoni, mushrooms, wherever you want it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's America. You don't see any ingredient on that pizza that's discriminating against who? Because one can't do without the other. It's all about flavor. And when you take those ingredients away, guess what? You don't have flavor. You just got that one taste. And I know for all y'all one-minded track mind people out there, you're just the crust. You ain't no pizza at all. So go ahead with your, I want to stay within my race and marry my race, and y'all just complain, whimper, and complain. You're going ahead. But remember, all the things you have was made by people like me. And speaking of salad that you're eating right now, there was some Mexicans that went in the field and picked that. Oh yeah, and by the way, even your own people who don't think like you are also helping out in the auto industry to build your cars. No matter it's Ford, GM, or whatever. Because people like you are going through it. So remember, it takes all of us to keep America running. Not just one class and one race. We in this shit together. Even if you're pro-black, pro-Hispanic, and all that stuff, we in this together. And that's all I gotta say about that. But once again, any last alibis?
Yeah.
I'm kind of mad because he got the drink going on now. Yeah.
Hang on. I'm gonna blow y'all's mind. Hang on. I don't know if y'all saw the bottle, and I'm not trying to be that guy, but my sister Mary got me this for my birthday.
Tell Mary she sucks and tell her I love her, I miss her.
I will, but she got me a bottle of white Hennessy, and I got to tell you, if you haven't had it yet, if you find yourself in Virginia, I will happily pour you a glass.
Oh my gosh! Well,
see, I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Nah, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna leave y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. As for our special guest Dan, and also for Beast Johnson, and then me as your host Don Much. Thank you for tuning into Fade to Black. Thank y'all. We will be back on Wednesday. Hopefully, Teach will be in the building. I know Dan, he's going to be watching the show. If you want to come on the show, you're welcome on anytime.
I got you. I appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. Beast, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on, man.
Love watching the show. Love watching the show, man. It's my highlight. I'd be texting Donnell when I get home from work. Show tonight?
Yeah, you sure did. But hey, but we made it. But yeah, we about to be out. Hey, y'all just hang tight. But once again, I gotta show that beautiful beam footage while we heading on out. Everybody, y'all have a good night, and please remember, COVID-19 is still out there. Be safe. Cover up. Don't be that guy, as we say in the military. All right, I'm outro. Bye-bye.